Welcome to the course, everyone. And in this course, I teach you how I lost 60 pounds in 6 months and got six-pack abs. And this can happen for you too. So in this video, I'm going to give you the complete summary of this entire course. That way you can get started right away without having to watch every single video. Every video from here on out is full of details and information, but this video will get you started. And I talk a lot and I want you to get started right away. So here are some tips before we begin. So to lose weight, think of the ideal body weight that you would like to be. Whatever number that is the minimum amount of protein you should have every single day. However, you can have up to 2 times that number in protein every single day. Next, whatever your ideal body weight is, that number is the maximum amount of carbs you should have every day, but at minimum, the amount of carbs is half that number. And when it comes to fats, whatever your ideal body weight is, times that number in half, and that is your targeted amount of fats in grams every day. So for example, if your ideal body weight is 150 pounds, you should have at minimum 150 grams of protein every day, but no more than 300 grams. You should have a maximum of 150 carbs every day, but a minimum of 75 grams. And for fats, 75 grams is your targeted number every day. For exercises, pick your top 3 favorite ab movements. Have one movement that targets your upper abs, one movement for your lower abs, and one movement for your side abs. Focus on just 3 exercises every time you work out. That way you develop those muscles over time, and once you lose fat, you'll be able to see your abs faster. And once you lose weight and you can start to see your abs, then start incorporating movements to fill out other ab sections as you get more detailed with your exercise workouts. For instance, do 3 sets of reach to the sky movements explained in further videos, leg raises, and Russian twists. And for each set, aim for 15 to 25 reps. If it gets too easy, add another set or start incorporating resistance bands. The key to any successful workout is to warm up properly and keep everything easy and pleasurable. And even if you're just a beginner and can do only 5 reps, still be happy with yourself, as happiness comes with progress. And next, for lifestyle tips, drink a lot of water first thing in the morning, do your cardio before breakfast or in a fasted state, eat the bulk of your carbs early in the day and less carbs toward the afternoon/evening, do not eat meals late at night, and eat 5 meals a day at the same time every day. Let's begin with the course. Hey everybody, and welcome to this video where I'm going to give you as much information as I can about this entire course so that we don't have to go through every single video to get all the information. This video right here is going to have the bulk summary of everything. So that way you can watch this video and get started right away with your diet plans, exercises, and lifestyle tips. Now, all of the videos after this will have more details and such, but this video will have the bulk summary of everything so you can get started right away. And so I learned all this information from on my own, but also I hired a personal trainer who's a professional bodybuilder, and even his students win awards. So I'm not a bodybuilder, I don't take steroids or anything. I'm just a normal person who lost 60 pounds in 6 months. I was 210 pounds and now I'm at 150, and I'm happier than ever, and I'm willing to share with you all the information I learned from my bodybuilding coach and also everything I've ever learned from my own experience. So without further ado, I want to get into this video, which is going to explain the diet, the exercise tips, and also the lifestyle tips that you can use to start losing weight right away and start getting a flat stomach and get 6-pack abs. And so, like I said, if you're not into 6-pack abs, this video will also help you lose weight. So whatever you want to do with it, you can lose weight and get abs. It just depends on you on how far you want to take this information. So really quickly, just get into the diet. I'm going to make this really easy and simple for you to get started. And so the diet is the #1 key to losing weight. Whether you want to get abs or not, everything depends on your diet. So you could be in the gym working all day long, trying to get abs, but if you have fat covering up your stomach, you will never see your abs. And if you're not into getting abs, then you just want to lose weight, this information is going to help you as well. So just to get right into it, one of the biggest problems to losing weight is that you might not be eating enough. And this sounds backwards, but when I was 210 pounds, I was only eating 2 meals a day and maybe having a small breakfast. And so my breakfast might have consisted of like 2 eggs and a piece of toast. And then for lunch and dinner, I'd have some rice, vegetables, some fish and chicken. Like nothing was unhealthy. I've always been a healthy eater. I've always been health conscious. I don't drink soda. I don't eat too much candy. I just stay away from junk food, no fast food. I've always been a very health conscious person. So, but one of the very first things that I learned was that I needed to start eating more, because your body needs more nutrients to start building more and more muscle and start being able to contain itself, such as like making sure your body works properly, keeping your insulin levels up, keep your metabolism running properly. And so if you're eating at irregular moments of the day, like you might eat breakfast at one time a day, and then like your lunch and dinner are at different times. You might be eating late at night, 10 o'clock at night, midnight or whatever. Like all those things are not good for you. So you want to get on a regular routine of eating 5 meals a day. Now I'm on 6 meals a day currently, but I did 5 meals a day and I lost weight. And with me eating 6 meals a day, I'm still maintaining where I want to be, which is 150 to 153 pounds. And so that's where I like to stay. And so if I ever hit 155 pounds, it's usually because I had a late night meal or I went out somewhere, but that's usually my threshold. And once I know if I hit that weight, I know to stick to my diet, and just within a few days, I'll be back to 153, 151, and there's no worries, and I'm in control of my diet at all times. So one of the very first things you need to do when it comes to your diet is start eating regularly. And so this is also my lifestyle tips, where I'm gonna teach you how to eat regularly at regular times. And so very simple way to remember is like what I do is I keep my breakfast at 9 o'clock, keep lunch at noon, keep my next meal at 3, my next meal at 6, and keep my last meal at 9. So every 3 hours throughout the day, I'm eating a small meal of some kind. Now, when I say a small meal, I mean like I'm still eating like literally 30 to 40 grams of protein and some decent carbs, lots of fat actually. So it's not like I'm starving myself at all. So that's one of the great things about dieting is like you are eating more. So anyone who's ever kind of cringed at the idea of like a diet has never been on a real diet before. And anyone who doesn't like vegetables, they probably don't know how to cook. So I'm gonna teach you all this stuff on how to enjoy dieting and like actually start enjoying yourselves. Because I actually eat more now at 150 pounds than I did when I weighed 210. So I know it sounds backwards, but you wanna keep your metabolism up and burning, keep your insulin levels level all day long. And so those are just some of the reasons why you eat at a regular time. So that might be one of the reasons why you might be overweight, is you're just eating at irregular times of the day. You wanna keep steady all day long. So you wanna keep burning calories, keep burning fat over and over all day and every day. So that's the tip number one, is just you gotta eat regularly at the same time, the best times, stay on track as best as you can. Yes, there's times when I eat later than I would like to, or maybe even, maybe just a little off time, but as long as you're still within that bracket, you're gonna be okay. Now, the next thing, and this is very, very important, and so like, when it comes to taking charge of your diet, you have to eat a certain amount of protein, a certain amount of carbs, and a certain amount of fat every day. I know there's people out there that are doing the no carb, the keto type thing, but you can't do that. That's not gonna sustain you, and it's not possible. You're not gonna go the rest of your life not eating chocolate or eating cake or eating cheesecake or going to Burger King. Like there's lots of things that I love that I will never give up. I love chocolate, I love cheesecake. And so I'm gonna help you find out your numbers, like how much protein, carbs, and fats you should have in just a second. But before I get into that, I wanna let you know that yes, it's possible to eat some junk food, potato chips, soda even. I don't drink soda, but I'm just saying, I know people love it. But once you know your numbers, that you can say to yourself, I can have X amount of carbs every day, then you know, okay, I can have this much soda every day, or this much chocolate, or this much whatever, pizza, etc. But like, once you know your numbers, you can plug that into your diet and be okay and still lose weight. So, but what I want to say is, what I'm trying to get to is that it's very important that even though you do know your numbers, and yes, you can cheat a little bit, have your pizza. I mean, I had pizza the other day. I eat chocolate almost every night, but like, you know, it's once you know your numbers, you can't exceed that amount. But it's also important to choose high quality foods. So like for instance, I love chocolate. So as mentioned, I love chocolate, and it's very important to choose high quality foods to plug into your diet. So when you choose a nutritious food item that's a high in quality and nutrients, it takes less of it to feel satisfied. Such as like, you know, with potato chips, they have less nutrients in it, so you just keep eating them more and more because your body's trying to get more and more nutrients out of it. But if you get like a high quality chocolate, for instance, that's organic, I personally love these Vino Coco chocolates, which are these wine flavored chocolates, and I got these off Amazon. But these are wine flavored chocolates, chocolate bars made with organic chocolate, and only half a bar is like 11 carbs. So like you can literally seriously have like half of a chocolate bar and only have 11 carbs in this, and it's very satisfying. You don't have to have like a whole Snickers bar or, you know, whatever that is junk food you just want more and more of. So if you get a high quality chocolate like Vino Coco or anything else that's high quality food, you're gonna feel more satisfied. So now that I explained to you why it's important to use a high quality nutritious food, you know, like you get a nutritious chocolate, you know, just a little bit of it will make you feel satisfied. So once you know your numbers, like I want to have this much protein, this many carbs, this many fats, you can, you know, you can easily say, I want to have half of this chocolate bar and only have 11 carbs. And if I'm allowed to have 100 carbs today, I can still have 90 more carbs. So it's just like, that's how you figure this stuff out. So I want you to think of your diet as like a puzzle. So I don't want you to think that it's ridiculous or it's hard to stick to, because I'm gonna show you how to stick to your diet properly, even if you go off the tracks. So I'm gonna get into it right now on how to determine your best diet and what it's gonna take for you to lose weight. So when it comes to dieting, there's this thing called a maintenance calorie level, where if you ate this many calories every day, you know, if you eat more of it, you're gonna gain weight. If you eat less of it, you're gonna lose weight. So you wanna know what your maintenance calorie level is. So, and that's a certain number. For me, it's 2,250. That's how many calories I have every day, and I don't lose weight and I don't gain weight. And that's because I'm at my certain ideal body weight. That's what I stick to. So for you, if you're looking to lose weight, if you're 200 pounds, etc., whatever, like me, I was 210. Just a really simple formula without getting too crazy into it is like to figure out your best ideal calorie level and your proteins, carbs, and fats is that whatever your ideal body weight is, you want to have at least that many grams of protein. So if my ideal body weight is 150 pounds, I have to have at least 150 grams of protein every single day. Now, you can exceed the protein levels if you want to by up to 2 times. So if I could have 150 to 300 grams of protein every single day. 300 grams of protein, that's a lot of food. And so it's a very high protein diet. So even at 150, that's still medium high, but I personally, on a daily basis, have about 225 grams of protein every single day between like the milk, the chicken, the eggs, and the protein, etc., the whey that I have. So it's like I have on average 225 grams of protein every single day. Now you have to have at least 1 gram, and that's the minimum. Now when it comes to carbs though, whatever your ideal body weight is, that's your maximum. So like the maximum carbs I have every single day is 150 carbs. That's maximum. But the minimum amount of carbs you have to have every day is your ideal body weight divided by 2. So if my ideal body weight is 150 pounds, I have to have at least 75 grams of carbs every day, just for the energy, keep my mood up, and like you don't crash, you have no energy crashes, you feel great all day long, even with 75 grams of carbs. And so like just to illustrate how much that is, I mean like a tortilla, if you have a taco, a tortilla is 20 grams of carbs. I could literally have 5 tacos all day long and still lose weight. But when it comes to carbs at least, because carbs are the culprit of everything. The protein needs to be high, you can have medium fats, but it's all about the carbs, it really is. So being at 0 carbs is not going to help you. Yes, your body will burn fat for energy if you're doing the keto thing, but it's not sustainable. The whole point of having a diet is to be able to keep doing it every single day and liking it. So like I could literally have like 75 grams of carbs. Like I could have half a chocolate. I could actually have this whole entire chocolate bar every single day and have 22 carbs. I could have one whole chocolate bar that's 22 carbs and still have 4 tacos every day and still lose weight. So like, but I know that sounds impossible, but it's like you're eating a lot. So like you're eating a lot of protein, you're getting a decent amount of fats. And so like your body is going to continuously take more and more nutrients. It's going to start building more and more muscle. And the more and more muscle you have, the more calories you burn. And so like everything works together. So your protein builds muscle, your muscle burns calories, the fat helps build hormones, etc. And the carbs give you energy. It's just when you have too many carbs is when that energy becomes stored and it turns into fat. So you want to be on a medium carb level so that way you have the energy to go to the gym, be in a good mood all day long, and then you're still able to burn off those calories from those carbs every single day. So that's kind of like the point. So you will always burn off more than you take in, which is how you lose weight. So the next part is the fats. So when it comes to calculating your fats, you want to have half of your ideal body weight in grams of fat. So every single day, I have a minimum of 75 grams of fat. Now, I don't really exceed that too much. My current diet is about 88 grams of fat every day. So it's just a little bit over it, but it doesn't exceed it like a crazy amount. So your numbers are just targets that you want to hit. And even if you don't hit it exactly, at least you're on the mark somewhere, but it's always the carbs that you want to take control of. And you want to make sure that you eat more protein than carbs in every single meal. So like in my breakfast, let's say if I have 12 ounces of egg whites and I could have peanut butter and jelly with an English muffin, that entire meal right there between the egg whites and the peanut butter, and there's a little bit of protein in the English muffin, I'm taking in 45 to 50 grams of protein. Now the carbs though, I got 20 carbs in my tortilla, I got 7 carbs in my peanut butter, and then I have another 10 carbs in my jelly. So like when it comes to the protein, the carb ratio, my protein's up here, my carbs are still below, and I'm still like for my breakfast, it's only 40 carbs, and I still have another 35 carbs minimum I have to eat all day long. So I still have to eat rice, or I have to eat a piece of pizza, or I have to eat some chocolate. I have to get those carbs in. I just cannot exceed 150. So just to recap that information, whatever your ideal body weight is, if you're a 5'2", like 5'2" person, your ideal body weight might not be 150, it might be 120. Or if you're like a 6'3" person, I'm 5'10", if you are a 6'3" person, your ideal body weight might be 175. And so but this is all to get lean to where you can see your abs. So that goes into the other thing is once you're skinny enough, like 10% to 12% body fat, you're gonna start seeing your abs, and getting on this diet is gonna help you lose weight over time to where you will gradually lose weight to see your abs. And so in order to see your abs though, you will have to do some exercises, and even if I go to the gym, I go to my apartment's gym, but even if you stay at home and you just do some crunches, or if you do some planks, do some Russian twists, there's some exercise that you can do just to get some blood flow to your muscles, and then they stand out a little more. So that's what working out will do for you. They just pop out just a little more. But depending on your age, maybe you don't go to the gym. You can always do something simple like planks or holding a yoga pose. My aunt is 70 years old and she can do a plank for 7 minutes. And so I can't do a plank for even 2 minutes, but she is surpassing me. So, you kind of have to think on that. This is another quick tip, just go into it. You want to think about when you're 80 years old, don't you want to be able to do a plank? Don't you want to be able to go on the treadmill and walk 30 minutes without losing your breath? You have to, that's one of the things that I do is I work out thinking if I was 70 or 80 years old, what would I want to be able to take care of myself. Wouldn't it be nice to still be able to do a squat? Wouldn't it still be nice to be able to hold a plank for 1 minute? If you are an older person, then that's gonna be super great. So at least work out on that level to where like you can do this. So I'm 42 years old, and it's like, depending on your age, it's like, you know, if you can't hold a plank for 1 minute, like how are you gonna do that when you're 80? So you gotta start that now. So like that's what we are doing now, is preparing for the future. So I'm 42, I'm looking to take care of myself. So, and that's probably what this course is about, is helping you as well. So I just kind of recapped how the diet works, and in the next videos I will also go more and more detail on how this works out. So like as far as like plugging your numbers, like if you want to get 150 grams of protein every day between 5 meals, that means every meal needs to be at least 30 grams of protein. And then what I also do is that because I have to have 75 grams of carbs every day minimum, what I typically like to do is have my carbs my first 2 or 3 meals, and then my last 2 meals have no carbs in it. Like for instance, my last meal of the day, which I'll have like at 9 o'clock at night, is usually like 3 whole eggs that I just fry up in a pan. And so it's like a late night snack. There's no carbs in it, it's high in fat. And when you sleep, your body needs fat to produce hormones such as testosterone and such. So I mean, eating eggs before bed is actually really great for you. And there's no carbs in it, so that way you're not storing any excess energy. And before that, my 4th meal of the day, or 5th meal, whichever I'm looking at, which way I'm looking at it, like, you know, if I'm having my last meal, second last meal of the day, it might be just milk with whey protein and some peanut butter. And I have like a chocolate peanut butter protein shake, which has milk, and my milk is lactose free, so it's a little bit more healthier for you too. So my last 2 meals of the day have no carbs in it. So I like to taper off my carbs throughout the day. So my first few meals will have carbs in it, but then like come 4 or 5 o'clock, I start eating less and less carbs. And then I kind of go into the night eating smaller meals, so that way I can go to bed on an empty stomach and not have a full stomach when I go to bed. So I just covered the diet and kind of give you a good gist of that. And in the next videos, I'll teach you, like, I'll show you my diet plan, what I'm eating every single day, and I'll show you how I do meal substitutions. So like if I'm on the fly, like if I'm in a hurry and I have to throw something together, like I show you how I can substitute one thing and one thing for the other. Like if I don't have rice, but I have potatoes, I'll show you how I switch that out. Or if I have like if I don't have rice for that meal, if I had pizza, for instance, if I had a slice of pizza in the fridge, like I might just cut off the crust and then weigh that out and make sure like that piece of pizza is only like 50 grams in weight or whatever. So it's like I'm getting 30 carbs from it. So I kind of know in my mind what these numbers are, and even if I'm not exact, I'm still within the ballpark. And so like when you're on the fly, you can at least throw these things together. So again, the diet is all about taking your ideal body weight and having a minimum of that ideal body weight in protein, and you can have as much as ×2 of that. So if your ideal body weight is 150 like mine, I have a minimum of 150 grams of protein and I have a maximum of 300, but on a typical day, it's around 200 to 225. And then when it comes to my carbs, 150 is the maximum amount of carbs I have every day, but 75 is the minimum. And then when it comes to, and that's taking your ideal body weight, and that's the maximum, and then you divide that by 2, which is your minimum. So 150 is the max, 75 is the minimum. The next number is your fats, and so that is just like your carbs, just about. You just take your ideal body weight, divide it by 2, and that's your target for your fat. So I have 150 grams of protein every day, minimum. I have no more than 150 grams of carbs every day, and then I have 75 grams of fat every day. So that's my average. So before I get into the lifestyle tips, which I'm gonna show you in a second, another quick tip when it comes to your diet is that if you're going to the gym and if you're working out and you're building muscle and you're doing cardio, you're an active person, you have a job where you're on your feet all day long and you're an active person, like I highly suggest that you always hit your maximum. So like, you know, like if I'm going to the gym, I'm on my feet all day long, blah, 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 150 grams of protein, like might not cut it. I'm definitely gonna get 200 grams of protein every single day. And then same thing with the carbs though. Like, I mean, if I can go all day long on my feet, walking around with my job, going hitting the gym, doing cardio, etc., 75 grams of carbs might not be enough. So I'm gonna do 150 carbs every day if I'm working out and I'm being active, and same thing with the fats. Now, here's the thing though, if you're watching this video and you're not an active person, you're not really trying to go to the gym, you have a desk job, I'm going to suggest that you stick to just the minimum. So whatever your ideal body weight is, whatever that number is, that's going to be your maximum. So like if I were to have a desk job, I just sit there and I don't go to the gym, like 150, that's the maximum amount of protein I'm going to have all day long. Like I'm not going to exceed 200 or whatever because I don't really need it if I'm not hitting the gym. And then the same thing with the carbs though. If I'm just sitting around at a desk job and then I'm not hitting the gym, 75 carbs is my maximum. I'm not going to exceed more than that because that's more for like when you're going to the gym and you need more carbs for like after the workout, you need some carbs to repair your muscles, etc. And then when it comes to fats though, I would probably still keep it to 75 grams of fat, which is minimum, the minimum base that we're talking about here. So if you're not an active person, stay to your minimum numbers because like your body does not need that much. So on a day where I were to do just my minimum numbers, my calories for the day might be around 1,400. But if I'm going to the gym, like usually I go do cardio and then I do weights. And then like for my job, I'm on my feet all day long and I'm walking around. Like when it comes to my job though, like I'm busy. So I'm a very active person. So I always make sure I hit my 200 grams of protein, my 150 carbs, my 75 grams of fat. So like it depends on your activity level. So all that comes in handy. So just quick tip on where you need to be when it comes to your diet. Now, when it comes to cheat meals, ta-da, here's the next thing. So like if you can stick to your plan and you're on a great rhythm, like you can have 1,000 calories a week in cheat meals. So like what does that mean? So like when I first started getting strict on my diet and stick to the same meals every single day, like I would go to the Cheesecake Factory once a week and I would have the fried mac and cheese balls, which are 1,100 calories. So, I mean, that was within, 1,000 to 1,100. Okay, we're pushing it. But like I was allowed to have that. Now, when I first started dieting though, is like all week long, I just looked forward to that cheat meal. It's like, or I go have a double cheeseburger from Burger King, which is 500 calories. Just like, I would always crave that cheat meal and I would wait. I had my cheat meal and then like I couldn't wait for my next one. It's like, oh great, now I gotta wait 7 more days for a cheat meal. Here's the thing though, like break your cheat meals over the course of 7 days. Like, it's like instead of me having 1,000 calorie cheat meal, like once a week, I'll have a whole freaking chocolate bar. Or I'll have I can literally have, okay, this chocolate bar right here, one serving is 130 calories. So if I could literally have half a chocolate bar, 130 calories, and over the course of 7 days, that's like about 1,000 calories. So you could still have half a chocolate bar and still lose weight. So I'm just saying, but this is the trick though. Like you just learn this stuff. And so like you learn your numbers. So I meant to mention the cheat meal earlier in the diet, but I just had to mention it to you right now while it's still on my mind. So yes, you can have cheat meals, stick to your diet, but exercising will always help you burn more calories than you're taking in, which is how you lose weight. So the next thing though, when it comes to exercises, in my videos, I include workouts you can do at home. I have workouts that you can do without equipment. I have workouts that might require, like if you want to take a step up, a resistance band that you can buy for $10 off Amazon or whatever. Or I get resistance bands that are really heavy duty. They're like $120, but they're well worth it. I've had them for like nearly 2 years. So it's a great investment if you're gonna be serious and going to the gym and wanting to build some muscle. But I also have an exercise routine, which includes weights, because just like any other muscle body part, your abs, if you use heavier weights, you're gonna get faster results, and that's just the way things go. So, but you can still get results by doing resistance bands or even body weight, but you just have to keep adding more reps into your workout. And when it comes to working out, it's all about time under tension. It's not always about the amount of reps that you do. So, but going to the exercises, if you decide to do exercises, what I suggest to do is if you're a beginner and you're new to this, just do the same, pick out 3 exercises and just keep doing those same exercises over and over and just keep building that muscle part over time. Like for instance, like to build your upper abs, you're gonna wanna do crunches. Now, I don't do crunches, I do a modified crunch where instead of crunching into a ball, And I show you these in the videos. I put my hands up and I reach to the sky. So it's kind of a little bit of a different movement. It's the same, similar movement as the crunch, but I'm not curling up into the ball. Just because like this movement, reaching for the sky, will give you a flatter stomach than actually doing crunches. Whereas crunches kind of give you like a turtle shell type of a look on your upper abs. So like if you're staying at home, you can easily lay down on the floor and just do reach to the skies, which I show you in my exercise movement routines videos coming up. Now, so like what I would do is like, if you're new and you're beginning at this, do the same exercise and do like 3 sets of it, of like up to 15 to 25, or if you're not using weights and you're just doing body weight, do a little more if you need to, but usually 25 is the maximum that I would do. And like, if it gets too easy, add another set. So if you're a beginner, you might only be able to do 5, and that's fine. And so, or, you know, or maybe you can do 10 or 15, but like, try to keep it repetitive to where it's like, you're gonna do 3 sets, and you're gonna do 3 sets of the same exercise, and then you go on to the next exercise. Now, the whole point of this theory is that you just keep building the same muscle part, the body part, over and over and over, instead of just doing a bunch of sporadic movements where it just kind of works this little part of your muscle, this little part of your muscle, this little part of your muscle, and not one part of your muscle actually gets developed. You just kind of touch everything. It's not really good. You want to just keep working the same freaking muscle over and over and over. And when I show you my ab routine, I have 3 exercises that I do all the time. They require like the reach to the skies or like weighted crunches. And then I do the next exercise, which is leg lifts, where you can lay on the floor, another exercise where you're laying down and just lift your legs up and then lift your spine off the floor. And I have instruction videos and showing you how to do this. But this movement is gonna work your lower abs, and it's gonna make your abs go inwards. So like if you work your lower abs, your stomach is gonna go in. So that's kind of like the point of doing a lower ab movement. Whereas when you work on your upper abs, you're gonna start getting your abs to show at the top, which is kind of like, you know, like it's kind of like the part of your abs that you kind of show off. But you want to do the lower abs to make your abs go in to get that nice sleek look. And then the third exercise movement that I like to do is either a Russian twist, where you're laying, again, another exercise where you're on the floor, you're just sitting there and you just twist back and forth. And so this will kind of get your obliques, and then it'll start giving you a V-shaped tapered look to your abs. And then you'll start looking slimmer and skinnier, and you're gonna start getting this V shape from your back down to your waist, and you're gonna start looking really good. And so if you're a beginner, you just keep doing the same muscles over and over, and then that way you build up that muscle part over time. So like when you do get skinny enough to see your abs, you now have muscle right there that's showing. And so like once you're able to see your muscles, and then from there on out, you can do other movements that might be more focused on your obliques or any other part of your abs that you just want to kind of fine tune. So I just suggest that you just pick out the 3 exercises. Now I have a whole routine on this that you just do what I tell you to do, but you'll discover what muscle, like what movements work your muscles the best. And what I found is that weighted crunches or reach to the skies work best for my upper abs. Doing leg lifts off the floor work the lower abs the best. And then if that gets too easy, get a resistance band. It's $10. And then you can also do Russian twists to get your obliques in there, or even wood choppers if you have a cable. And so if you don't have a cable, again, resistance bands. So like, and that's gonna give you that tapered V look. So going back to those tips on exercises, just pick out 3 and start doing them over and over and over again. And I would suggest pick each exercise you do 3 sets of it from like 10 to 15 reps, or even up to 25. And if you can exceed 25, do more, or even add another set into it. So when it comes to exercise, here's a huge tip that's also in my course that I want you to take in right now. It's like working out is all about the warm up. And so it's super, super simple just to warm up and do some effortless movements. And so like when I go to the gym, like during my peak part of my workout, I might be working out with 100 pounds, but you know, it's my warm up which leads me into that. And so like what I want you to know is like when I warm up though, I do effortless movements. Like I don't even work hard. Like once a movement gets hard or it feels like it's work, I just stop and I go to another exercise, and then I might do some like arms to the sky type of thing, and then I'll do 8 or 10 of them. And then once it feels like I'm struggling, like I'm putting in like 50 or 60% effort. I'm not going to failure. I'm only putting in half effort. But once it feels like I'm exceeding that 50% effort mark, I go on to another exercise, and I do that a couple of times. I do some leg lifts, and then until that feels like it's starting to get a little bit of work, but I never strain during warm-ups. Like the warm-up is all supposed to be effortless. And then my warm-ups are like 10 minutes long, maybe 15 at the most. But by that time, like I'm warmed up enough to start adding weights in. And then now, like if I add in, say if I'm doing a Russian twist and I have a 10-pound weight in my hand instead of doing a body weight, which would have no dumbbell, obviously, but if I'm using 10-pound dumbbells or 20-pound dumbbells, it feels like it's effortless because like I'm warming up to it. So I mean, the warm up is the key to every successful workout. So, and even when I'm working out with weights, if I'm doing 3 sets to 4 sets with weights, my first set is going to be just medium light weights, where I'm going to do like maybe 15 reps of something where it's still somewhat easy. But even on the last set, on the last rep, I'm not struggling. And so it's just like, I just kind of am still like I'm warming up. So like my first set is like, I'm still warming up to set number 3, which is like, which would be like the heavier, more challenging set to do. But by the time I get to set 3 or 4, it's so easy and my muscles are just pumped up and they're ready, they want to do more. So it's like everything is about the warm up. It's starting slow and starting easy. And if you're a beginner, like a warm up exercise might be your standard exercise routine. When I was my first months of like, when I was losing 60 pounds, and in this 6 months I was working out, like I only did, like I did Russian twists, I did planks, I did leg lifts, and I did bicycles. None of those required weights whatsoever, but yet I still was able to get abs. So like there's no excuse to not get abs, even without a gym or without weights, because I was able to get abs with no weights. I use weights now just because they're a little more easier to get more results, and like my muscles need a challenge, but even still, like it's super, easy to just get results without a gym. So the last thing I want to mention about the exercise routine is like, even if it's your first day, and I want you to take it easy and just be happy with your results. So like, for instance, when I first started, when I did my first plank, I did a plank for like 10 seconds. It's just like, be easy on yourself and just be proud that you're taking steps, and don't wait till you're, whatever your ideal body weight is right now, or wherever you are right now. Like, don't say, I'll be happy once I lose 50 pounds. Don't say, I'll be happy once I lose 30 pounds. Be happy now that you are progressing. So like progress, happiness comes with progress. So if you go to the gym and you only do a plank for literally 10 seconds, but you did 3 or 4 of them, that's awesome. And it's your first day, like way to go. Cause you're gonna get better and better each time you do it. Especially if you keep repeating the same exercises over and over and not do a bunch of different exercises every single day like some people do. Stick to the 3 exercises every single day and just get better at them over time. So but just stick with it. Like if this is your day 1, be happy that you are progressing. Because here's the thing. It's like, if I can give you abs right now, and if I can get you to your ideal weight right now by snapping my fingers, like within 3 months, you're gonna be back to gaining weight again because you're not on the right track. So it's just like, it's the same thing with if you win the lottery. It's like, people win millions of dollars in one single day by not putting any effort into it, and then all of a sudden they're broke again, and now they have a yacht they have to pay for, and then they have a mansion they have to pay for, and they have no cash. So it's like, you have to get on track. And once you get abs, once you lose your weight, this is your lifestyle. You're not gonna change it. And so it's just and you're not gonna wanna change it, there's foods that I just don't have a personal taste for. I love my own cooking, and there's no reason for me to go to the Cheesecake Factory, which, by the way, I'm a huge fan of, but they're, not to talk about bad about Cheesecake Factory. So, but their least caloric, like least amount of calories meal that they have is like, I believe it's the coconut chicken, and it's like 1,800 calories for one dish. And so 1,800. So like if my calorie deficit, like right now I have 2,200 calories every day, but like when I was losing weight, sometimes it's 1,400 if I don't hit the gym. So like one meal from the Cheesecake Factory completely exceeds what you're supposed to have. So let's just say you have breakfast and you have lunch and then you go to the Cheesecake Factory for dinner, like 1,800 calories for dinner plus your lunch plus your breakfast, like you're hitting 3,000 calories. Like you're way exceeding what you needed to be at. So, I mean, this is where it comes in, where you are mindful of the things you do. So, one last tip on exercising. So, it does help to do cardio, and notice some people might hate cardio. It might sound boring, but it's not boring. 30 minutes of cardio is nothing. I live in an apartment building where I have treadmills and I also have bicycles. So it's just like, it's easy for me to just go downstairs, get on the treadmill for 30 minutes and then go burn my calories. And so there's even a calorie timer on the machine, on the treadmill, where it says like, you know, after 30 minutes of walking, you burn 250 calories. So it's just like, once you learn what it takes to burn 250 calories, 30 minutes of cardio, like you really start disciplining yourself in your diet, because you think about, oh, well, if I had 3 chocolate bars today and I exceeded, you know, my calorie deficit, then that means I have to go on a treadmill for an extra 45 minutes. And it's like, oh God, so what's easier, not eating 3 chocolate bars or going on a treadmill for 45 minutes? So as long as there's a balance, you're gonna be okay. So, but when it comes to doing cardio, and I'll mention this later on in my lifestyle tips, but doing cardio in a fasted state is gonna burn fat instead of burning the calories that you just ate previously from a previous meal. So like what I mean is, like, first thing in the morning, go do your cardio before you eat breakfast, so that way you burn fat that's on you right now. Whereas if you were to eat breakfast, then go do cardio, you're just burning the calories you just ate. Let's burn the fat that we ate yesterday, and then the calories we take in today, we're gonna burn those off as we go along. So burn off yesterday's fat first thing in the morning by doing cardio before breakfast, and then the rest of the day, we're still burning calories as long as we pay attention to what we're eating. So I'll mention that later, but it's very important to do cardio on a fasted state. And what I do is, like, I do 30 minutes of cardio 5 days a week, first thing in the morning. And when you get down to your ideal weight, you can do as little as 15 minutes of cardio to maybe even 20 minutes. But if you're in the state where you're trying to lose weight, 30 minutes minimum, 45 minutes maximum. So, and for me, for my age, I keep my heart rate between 120 and 140 heartbeat per minute. So depending on your age, that might be different. So you can always go on Google and find out what that number is. But for my range, it's 120 to 140 heartbeats per minute, which is the fat burning range. So that's something to consider. So we covered diet, we covered exercise. Now let's cover some lifestyle tips, and I'll let you go so that way you can get into the rest of the course, where I'm gonna teach you how to do meal substitutions, how to create your meal plans, find out your numbers, etc. So the very first tip I want to tell you to do is you got to drink water first thing in the morning. And so now here's a little more detail on that. And so, like, a lot of people just say drink 1 cup of water and that flushes out your stomach and cleanses out your stomach and whatever else. But I'm going to suggest that you drink a little more than that. Drink up to 1 liter. I drink 5 cups to 1 liter every single morning. And so that not only cleanses your stomach, but when you saturate your body on an empty stomach, when you saturate your body with water, that water doesn't go just to your stomach and into your intestines and flushes out. Like when you saturate your body, your stomach can't hold it all. You know, it's gonna saturate your muscles, it's gonna saturate your skin, it's gonna go everywhere. It's gonna just like if you were to put water in your flower pot, you know, you don't wanna put just 1 cup of water in there every hour, and then that water just kind of evaporates. You want to put so much water in that it floods the entire flower pot. So that's what I do first thing in the morning. Is I have basically 4 to 5 cups of water every morning, and then I also do, and I'll show you this later on, I make a little drink which incorporates apple cider vinegar, 1 lemon, the juice of a lemon, and then some cayenne pepper. And so I put a dash of cayenne pepper, squeeze lemon juice in there, and then put 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar and 2 cups of water. I chug it down, and then once I drink that, I fill the cup up again 1 more time, and I drink that back down. So now I saturate my body, and then the apple cider vinegar boosts your metabolism. So does the cayenne pepper, and so does lemon. So all those ingredients help your stomach, and you're gonna not just burn fat, you're gonna start being healthier too. So I mean, that's my tip number 1, drink more water. And so my tip number 2 here is, okay, we talked about doing the fasted cardio. We do cardio in a fasted state because we're gonna burn fat from yesterday. So that's my next lifestyle tip. And I'll have more tips for you later on. The next thing would be no eating late meals. And so a lot of times when I weigh myself in the morning and I gained a pound, maybe even 2 at the most, you know, it's like, a lot of times it's like, well, what happened? You know, it's like, oh, did I really eat a huge meal at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night or midnight or whatever? So like, when you eat late at night, your digestion is not burning as high as it should be. So like, you're not gonna digest your food properly. And so you might actually still have food in your system, which is gonna help, it's gonna not help you, but it's gonna cause you to gain weight. You're not gonna digest your food properly. So if you don't digest your food properly, your food is just not gonna be eliminated or be used properly. So it's very important to eat, you know, all your heavy meals earlier in the day, and keep your heavier meals like more around lunchtime. And as you go throughout the day, eat lighter and lighter meals. So that's my next tip for you. Also, what I like to do is taper off my carbs. So like, I know I mentioned this earlier, but my breakfast and my lunch usually contain all the carbs that I need minimum for the day. So like my English muffin with jelly and peanut butter, that's like 35 grams of carbs. But then like my lunch, my second meal, might have 1 cup of rice in it, which is another 40 carbs. So now I just got to my minimum amount of carbs for the day. And then my next 3, 4, and 5 meals might be low carb to no carb meals. So like, I like to taper off my carbs throughout the day. So that will become helpful for you. And just like once it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, try to eat less carbs. And so like, and then as the day goes on, as mentioned, like if I come home and it's like 6 o'clock at night, like, or even 7 o'clock at night, like my next meal might be yogurt with like protein powder. And so like Greek yogurt, which is non-fat, there's 7 carbs in it, and then like my protein powder has 3 carbs in it. So like there's only 10 carbs in that meal, but yet I'm still getting 40 grams of protein between the yogurt and the whey. And I'm gonna show you all the meal planning in the next videos when it comes to diet, so don't get too worried about that. So taper off your carbs throughout the day, and then eat regularly. Like I mentioned earlier, you gotta eat regularly every day. So like a rule of thumb is do not eat a meal within 2 hours of each other. So if you ate a meal, don't eat another meal an hour and a half later, wait at least 2 hours. And then when it comes to how long you can go, try not to go longer than 4 hours. Say if you're busy running errands or etc. or whatever, you just can't get your food. Now, if it does happen where you go over your limits, it's not the end of the world, but I'm just saying, like, if you just eat regularly, your metabolism is gonna be working properly, your insulin's gonna be working properly, and your body just needs to be in a complete rhythm to like just keep becoming a fat burning machine as you go along. And as mentioned earlier, you might need to start eating more food altogether. So that's what we talked about in our calorie section on our diet. So, but yeah, just eating more, eating regularly, eating the right amount of ratios between protein, carbs, and fats, doing your exercise, doing your cardio on a fasted state. You know, you can also do your weight training later on, and I'll show you some tips on that, such as like when you're doing your exercise routine, take a 1 minute rest in between each set. So that's another thing too. Don't wait too long, don't wait too little. But those are all little details that I go into in the next videos, where I go more and more and more in detail on the diet plans, on the exercise routines. But this whole video is to give you the lump sum summary, so that way you can just get started right away. So let's pick out your ideal body weight. What do you think you should weigh in order to see your abs? So it's just like, you know, and going back, go find a chart on Google. Like if you are a 6'3" person, what weight do you what weight does it say that you should be at, to where maybe you'll be at 10% body fat, so you can see your abs. So like everything on that is Google. I can't do the math right here on the video for you for every single person, because you know, I'm 5'10", I'm an average body type, but maybe you're shorter, maybe you're taller. Like this video would be 20 hours long if I did every scenario possible. So all those little nuances you can find on Google, or you can just think about it, you know, almost like just doing some basic math. You know, I'm a medium body weight, 150 pounds is where it takes for me to see my abs. I mean, I can see my abs at 155, but once I hit 157 pounds, then my abs start getting blurry and I'm not happy. So, but I also don't want to go below 150 either. So I don't want to be too little. I want to be at 153, like on average at all times. So, but as you go along, you're going to discover what that number is. So I hope this video helped you out. Discover what your ideal body weight is, have that minimum protein, have that maximum carbs, divide that number by 2, and that's your number for fats. If you're an active person, try to eat the maximum amount allowed. And if you're a non-active person, just stick to the minimum amount and you're still gonna lose weight. So in the next videos, I'm gonna show you how to not just calculate your numbers, but how to plug these numbers into your diet, food programs, like how to cook your meals in bulk. Like I give a lot of tips on like how I shop at Costco. I buy the same thing over and over. I save money at Costco. I make my food in bulk. I make my food 3 days in advance, so that way every day when I wake up, my rice is already there with a cup in it, and I just scoop it out, boom, put it in my bowl, and I'm meal prepping. They're just like that. So I mean, or I have enough chicken to last 3 days. So I have chicken right now in a Tupperware bowl, where like when I go to take my lunch out on the road with me, I just weigh it out on my food scale, which by the way, you should get a food scale. I have a food scale right here, and I have a couple other ones. So I mean, all my food is weighed out, and I'm gonna show you how to weigh out your food as well. So, but yeah, this video was all about to give you the summary on how to do everything. Your exercises, stick to 3 exercises, keep doing them over and over so you develop those muscles. And once you can see your muscles, once you lose fat, you can see your muscles, then start tweaking, you know, then start getting the details, then start working on your obliques, your side abs, etc. And then also stick to the lifestyle tips, eat regularly, drink lots of water first thing in the morning, saturate your system, taper off the carbs, eat most of your carbs like at lunchtime or even breakfast, and eat less carbs throughout the day. Do your fasted cardio first thing in the morning. Then we can do eat regularly, and then yeah, so we went through all over these tips. So everything in this video is more than enough for you to get started. But the last thing I'm gonna leave you on is like everything is about progress and just doing this regularly. Like I've done this diet every day for the past 1.5 years, and like were there times when I went off my plan? Yes. Were there times when I went to the Cheesecake Factory and maybe had too much cheesecake? Yes. Was there a time when maybe it was New Year's Eve and I had a whole bunch of pasta at an Italian family's house and gained 3 pounds the next day afterwards? Yes. I mean, you might have some setbacks here and there, but I was still able to lose weight, you know, but you just have to learn. It's like, don't let that happen again, you know, like don't overdo it on the pasta next time or whatever. I mean, you're gonna make mistakes, but as long as you're perfect, 90% perfect, you're still gonna make progress, and that's what it's all about. As long as you progress, you're going to be happy. So learn from your mistakes. I learn from my mistakes. I'm gonna make this course to teach you how to avoid mistakes, so you're always taking steps forward. So I hope you found this video helpful. I included as much information as I could just to get things going for you. The diet is number 1, sticking to your calories and always being in your calorie deficit. Like that's the most important thing. It doesn't matter how much exercises you do if you still have fat above your abs. So like getting rid of the fat, burning out the fat, losing weight is the number 1 thing. Exercises are number 2, and the lifestyle tips, those are all incorporated. So everything's gonna work out for you. I promise you, this worked out for me. I lost 60 pounds in 6 months and got 6-pack abs, and I'm here to help you. I'm just a regular person. I don't take steroids. I'm all natural, and all I did was just learn what to do, and I spent roughly $2,000 doing it with a professional bodybuilder, and I no longer need a trainer. I'm good and gone on my own. I haven't had a trainer in several months, like roughly 6 months, so I just continuously learn more movements when it comes to the gym, but I know my diet inside and out to where like I know like if I do have some chocolate, I know that I'm still gonna weigh the same amount that I weighed this morning, if not a little less. So I mean, if you wanna get these, by the way, you can go onto Amazon. But anyways, just saying, check out the diet videos if you need to learn more some information, but this whole video was to help you just get started. This is the bulk of the information. Everything else from out is just details to help you get better at what we just covered. So discover your ideal weight, find out your protein, carbs, and fats, and then do your cardio in a fasted state first thing in the morning, and then stick to the lifestyle tips of drinking water, taper off your carbs, do your cardio fasted, do your fasted cardio, and then eat regularly. And so I repeated myself way too many times, so I'm just gonna end this video now and let's start doing some more detailed stuff. See you next video. Hope you found this helpful.